Cancer.
Hello Cancer, it's my favorite time of the month. It is doing your scopes. You know, I love to talk to you and keep you updated on what is going on in your chart. And this month your focus here is going to be streamlining your day-to-day schedules. It's going to be a busy month. The sun is passing through Sagittarius, so this gives you a little feel of feeling how Sagittariuses act, okay? We are, of course, the sun sign that we're born in, but as the sun progresses throughout your chart, every month when it changes sign, you get a little piece, a little taste of how that sign actually works, okay? So you're going to feel the energy lifting and rising. It's a fire sign, so you're going to feel energized. And especially now when it comes to your daily routine, this is where I see that your focus is going to be how you can tweak it, make it work for you much, much better. And also I'd like to say that it's going to be a little bit more focused perhaps on your health and on your diet, and especially because we have the new moon in this very same area from December 2nd. And so you know how we talk about planting your seeds and your intentions? Well, this would be a good time, we get it once a year, where we have that super sharp laser, that focus on our intentions in the area of health. How can you tweak it? What can you cut out? All the trans fat out of your diet, for example. You know, just eliminating one or two things out of your diet can do a big, big boost for your health. It's also the time for you to write yourself an abundance check. Put it aside. You know, we do that on the new moon, and then we take it away. You know, fold it up there on the new moon, on the full moon, which is going to be December 17th. So you have 2 weeks for that abundance check to kind of grow for you, right? And then we harvest. Just put it aside, December 17th. Now, Venus is in your 7th house for love and relationships. You had Venus in this area of the 6th house where you were thinking and analyzing a whole lot about what your relationship really means to you. Here, end of October coming into November. But now, see, and especially if you're listening to this reading on the November side, well, it hasn't been too long since Venus entered into this area. So all of December, you're going to be feeling how? You're going to be more sober about your feelings, more true, more genuine to not only what you feel, but also how your partner is. I see you dedicating a lot of energy to your partner, that extra that you can be giving. And Venus here this month is also going to be aligning beautifully with a trine from Mars, which is going to allow you to communicate. Mars is in the 3rd house for communication. Mars is your action, your drive, your ambition, and it's in the 3rd house ruled by Mercury. And it's a double whammy Mercury, because not only is the 3rd house ruled by Mercury, but it's in the sign of Virgo, which is also Mercury. Double whammy communication. Mars really wanting to talk now. And maybe you might have been collecting a lot of things over these last few months that you have been observing, maybe not really expressing. Well, if that's the case, this would be the month to share that with what you've been contemplating. And I think your partner will be receiving it in a really good way too, because even he or she has Venus in Capricorn, right? And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is what gives things body, root, grounding, foundation, and taking things seriously. It disciplines us. This is why we like Saturn, the good signs about Saturn. So we have that working for you, and then we also have Neptune in that 9th house. You're still reaching, which you're going to be doing for a long time in those philosophical areas of spirituality. Who you are, why you're here, where you're heading, what's the lessons of life, why did I have to go through that back then, and you know, what am I actually looking at right now in my life. All of those things are Neptune, and Neptune right now is going direct from November 13th. And so if you've been feeling things have been drying up a little bit on the spiritual level, or you've been a little confused or it's been a little foggy, which Neptune can do, that's because it's been retrograde here for 4 or 5 months. But now from the 13th, step by step, give it a little chance to start pulling up speed because it's such a big body. So it takes a few weeks actually to pick up that speed, but you will see how your crown chakra will start opening up and you'll start seeing those larger visions, okay? You're going to be able to download it and embody it into your heart chakra because Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So Venus is love of the flesh. It's the human love. It's what we want, right? It's what we need. That's the human side of it. But see, Neptune is so beautiful. It's so subtle. It's so refined. And it comes from spirit. It's that spiritual connection, the spiritual love. So when that reopens that channel, well, you're going to feel it because you are very sensitive Cancerians, right? You know you are. And it's in the sign of Pisces, which is your sister sign. It's water, you're water, you have Jupiter there in your sign, and we have Saturn working in Scorpio, which is water. So when these energies get working together, well, you're starting to master the direction of your journey. And I think a lot of you will start remembering the contracts of what you signed by coming into this dimension. This means assuming responsibility for all those things that happen in our life. They don't just happen to us. It's not just external circumstances coming to us. No, this is us awakening, assuming responsibility for whatever it is, good or bad. It's like even the bad. It's like, well, I signed up for this. So now what am I going to do about it? And this is where once you embody that Saturnian responsibility for your life, it gives you power. You're not the victim. You got power, girl. To say, hey, if I signed up for this, then I have a say in this, then I can actually steer out of course and take a different route if that is what you need. For those of you really happy in your life, seeing things coming together, well, you'll feel that Saturn is coming in, embodying that security that Cancerians love and need, because you are the family people in the zodiac, your children, your parents, your spouses, right? And Saturn in the 5th house for children, well, that's your life, right? So it's like right now, it's so good, and we're going to run over a few dates here as well. But let's just mention the full moon, December 17th. So on the 2nd, your new moon intentions, you write that. On the 17th, you harvest it. So if you've written that abundance check to yourself, this is the day to kind of rip it up, put it aside, and just allow the universe now to kind of be the receiver from the universe as far as whatever you put on that check. And then we have Uranus, the changes going on with Pluto. We speak about that. It's between the changes, shifts going on in career, the new directions that you're longing for, and also those shifts going on dynamically in your relationships or marriages. That's still there and will be for many years, so we're not going to touch too much on it. I want to go to the transits. And as always, we go through the dates that you can make a little mental note of or write a little note to yourself. And of course, I can only run through them very quickly since we're doing this on the video. But for those of you that are following the astroscopes, you get that longer version of it there on the website, because then we speak about these transits between 5 to 8 minutes, so you get more of in-depth on a daily basis. But let's start here. November 2nd, new moon, okay? That's your 6th house for health and tweaking your daily routines. On the 3rd, we got Mercury and Mars. Mercury is communication, it's your thoughts, it's how you want to now engage that with Mars. So that's between your 3rd and 5th house. So important communications for you here, Cancerians, on the 3rd would be with your either your children, or if you're having an affair, it would be talking to your lover on this day with something of importance. Okay, Mars brings that importance into the picture here. Now, on the 4th, Mercury is going to change signs. It's going to move out of Capricorn and, no, out of Scorpio and moving into Sagittarius. So you'll feel that that energy that has been so serious this last month while it was retrograding, well, now it's picking up humor. And Mercury loves the wittiness of Sagittarius, so it's going to be a great placement for you to have it. On the 6th, don't sign any papers, only because it's a little foggy. We got Neptune there, square Mercury. You know, it's like the used car salesman type energy, okay? This is what you may encounter on this day if somebody's trying to sell you something. Well, you know, if it doesn't sound too clear, just step aside, if only just for a day or two. Then you can revisit it. But great unexpected news on the 10th. We always love when Mercury brings us news from Uranus. Uranus is what can come out of clear blue sky, the unexpected. And it's in a good aspect. So a trine should bring you some great news here. And it might be healing too. Somebody might just say the right thing that can just, you know, heal the scab of your wound, because on the same day Mercury here is square Chiron. So, you know, there might be something lurking, you know, and Chiron always works in our subconsciousness, you know, in that inner essence of who we are. So that has been touched, but Mercury could bring a Uranian out of the blue, healing for it. On the 12th, Jupiter in your first house, that's you, and your expansion, now is trining Saturn in the 5th house. So good news here. It's somehow maybe your children bringing you some good news on this day. Maybe some of your children coming home if they're out and about, you know, college or something, or that you're helping them to prepare to come home. Travel, Jupiter is travel. And it could be other good news here. And in that case, it's something that was going to make you radiate, because it's your first house, it's your rising sign. And then we got some more good news on the 17th. That is Uranus, which has been retrograde for the last 4 or 5 months. So for those of you feeling things have been delayed, moving slowly, you know, if you've been waiting for that promotion, or you've had so many applications out there and nothing happening, nothing coming from them, well, at least now when it starts moving direct, you can start expecting to see things over time, over the next months, actually picking up speed. And you definitely do, if you want a new job, you would like, you know, Uranus to be direct and not retrograde. It's a little iffy here because on November 1st we had an exact square to Pluto. That might have held you in the strings here throughout all of November, but now 17th onwards is looking good. Venus is going retrograde on the 21st, so I'd say get your shopping done, all your Christmas presents before that date. Venus for you, 7th house, and especially the gift that goes to your spouse or your significant other, because that's where Venus is for you, right? You don't want that to end up as something that turns out to not be what you had hoped it to be. And that happens. Of course, you don't want your spouse or yourself to have any plastic surgery as long as Venus is going here through retrograde. And that's going to be several weeks. Not the best time to have anything done. Then we have Mercury moving into your partnership house on the 24th. This is now just coming up under Christmas. Christmas is going to be excellent. The Sun and Neptune is going to be in harmony here on the day prior to Christmas. And Mercury also sextile Neptune. So it's going to be one of those, you can nearly hear the Christmas songs that they're dreaming of a white Christmas. It's got that dreaminess to it here. Just be very careful on the roads on the 24th, especially those of you up north, just because we got Mars and Uranus opposite one another. There's an opposition, so and there's a lot of people, a lot of traffic out there wanting to come home for the 25th. So just keep extra clear attention, all right? Promise me. And then we have towards the end of the month, and we're going to have to talk a little bit more in depth about this as we get closer to these dates on the astroscopes. Mercury and the Sun is going to be square Uranus. So Mercury's communication, the Sun is you, Uranus is that unexpectedness, something coming out of the blue. Might not be too happy about it, and it could just be because there's this Mars-Pluto square, there might be some extra not too happy energies. There might be even quarrelsome energies here. So somebody might have a pressure release and have a slip of the lips and say something that might not sit too well. That might trigger a self-defense thing. And so here we got it going, okay? Quarrelsome energy in the very last few days here of the month. But it doesn't just have to be triggered by something somebody says. That's communication, that's Mercury. But we also have the square of Mars and Pluto, so there might be some action somebody around you might do or take, and you might react to it. So, but we'll speak more about that in your January horoscope, because as the planets end the year on this note, it's also what's going to start the year on the very same note here on January 1st for New Year's Eve, and also through the astroscopes. We will be dedicating some more insights to it, because it's really worth talking more about. But that said, I think we have it all. Uranus direct on the 17th. That is a good note. No presents, don't shop after the 21st with Venus retrograde. We do have Neptune turning direct on the 13th. That's great news, especially because Neptune is in the sign that it rules, so it kind of makes it even stronger. So Jupiter retrograde, well, yes, it's going to be retrograde for many months, Cancerians, and it's retrograde in your sign, so it's still staying there. But we always want Jupiter to work with us when we do engage in new things. But even in the retrograde, Jupiter can be okay. It can still bring some opportunities for you, especially those that you created earlier on may return. Remember, retrogrades brings old things back into the now, okay? So a return of opportunities, because Jupiter is always opportunistic. So, okay, this is what we have for you here in December, and do go listen to your moon and rising signs so you can see where these energies are going to play out in those scopes. And I will see you next month. Take care now.